Have you ever wanted to throw your body away and get a new one? I wish that was possible. For those of you that don't know, a few months ago, I had surgery. For what, you might ask? Well, it goes like this. A couple of years ago, I noticed a lump protruding from my neck. Last year, I had an ultrasound, just to check it out, no big deal, and the guy made this noise. After a few more scans, it was determined that I had a carotid body tumor. The carotid body is a small sensory organ in the middle of the carotid artery, a major artery in the neck. Its primary function is to act as a chemoreceptor, monitoring arterial blood oxygen levels and initiating compensatory responses in the respiratory and cardiovascular systems. I don't know what any of that means, but it sounds important. Like the kidneys, we humans have two carotid bodies. And similar to the kidneys, if you lose one, you really don't want something to happen to the other one. No! So my tumour was growing inside the carotid body, meaning the carotid body itself had to be removed. My arteries, instead of looking like this, were looking like that. So this tumour had to be cut out post-haste. I had to wake up at 4:30 AM. But I didn't get rolled in for surgery until 7:45. They stuck electrodes on me, put in cannulas, and gave me some oxygen, which I don't think was actually oxygen, because before I knew it, I was drifting off to sleep within seconds.
What the hell is that?
After 3 hours of recovery, bouncing between sucking on an icy pole and falling asleep, I was rolled into my own room at 3:00 PM. I was still attached to a drip, had a few cannulas still in there, but now I had a drainage tube in my neck. Eventually I had to pee, so with help I shuffled my way into the bathroom. Everything was fine. I make my way to the sink and... They dragged me out of the bathroom on a wheelchair, and about 9 doctors ran into the room. They threw me on the bed and they took my oxygen and blood pressure, which was 80/40. They did everything to try to keep me awake, but I was drifting in and out of consciousness until I blacked out entirely. About an hour later, they managed to stabilise my blood pressure at 90/50, and after that, there were no more issues. Except for a headache I got on the day of discharge, remember that. I finally saw what my incision looked like, but after 2 nights in hospital, I was looking forward to going home and having 3 relaxing months off of work.
This is only the beginning!
I was vomiting, I was shaking, my headache had grown, I had major eye sensitivity. For the next 2 days, all I could keep down were 5 pizza shapes. On the second night at home, I was trying to sleep when I saw 2 nurses standing beside the bed. I was sleeping with my arms above my head, and they were trying to pull them down. I distinctly remember counting the amount of arms and thinking, wait, that doesn't add up. I started to panic and said to Mum, yeah, I'm hallucinating. And Mum says, right, we're going to emergency. So Dad drives us to the nearest hospital at 2 o'clock in the morning. Apparently I was so bad that the staff thought I was disabled. I eventually got seen by a doctor and was given some sleepy drugs and anti-nausea pills. Within half an hour, I was zonked. Thank God for this, because I wanted nothing more than to be unconscious. They changed up some medications and most of my symptoms were gone. The only thing that remained was my headache. So about 3 weeks later, I had a follow-up appointment with my surgeon. And yes, my eyes are still sensitive. We were driving along and suddenly, the sun rears its ugly head and decides to spear a ray of sunshine through my eye. After that, it was all over. The damage was done.
I was blind for 3 days.
I was waddling around with a sleep mask and sunglasses in a dark house. I couldn't watch TV or go on my phone. All I could do was listen to things. I've always been a migraine sufferer, but it was never like this. This migraine was like if my eyes were flaming meatballs inside a pineapple, full of needles, with a balloon that's inflating inside. And it sucks because you can't escape your own head. So we go back to the hospital. I assumed they would give me a migraine medication and I'd be on my merry way.
Nope.
I was in the hospital for 5 days. Well, at least I didn't have to vote this time. I was seeing a different neurologist every day. They tried everything, starting with Nurofen, Panadol, and aspirin. Did it work?
No!
What about Ligactyl, a migraine medication administered intravenously?
No!
What about 3 more doses of Ligactyl? Surely that's gonna work.
No, it isn't!
So it's taken up a notch. They decide to inject nerve blockers and steroids into my head. But like everything else, it was only a temporary fix. My head was just refusing any treatment.
Stupid brain.
And so they gave me a choice. I either take some migraine medication and have another dose of Ligactyl, or I can have a 5-day infusion of lidocaine. I had already been in hospital for 5 days at this point, plus I knew way too much about Pat's bowel movements, so I chose the first option. After stabbing me multiple times to find a vein, which hurt way more than the head injections, they hooked me up to 1 more dose. The next day, I was feeling better. My migraine wasn't gone, mind you, but I figured now I could go home and let my brain recover on its own. Things were looking up. Everything will be fine. I came to a realization. This is no migraine. They do not last for months. So I looked up my symptoms and I found something called occipital neuralgia, a neurological condition that causes severe pain in the back of the head. The pain can radiate to the upper neck, behind the ears, and behind the eyes. This was sounding all too familiar to me. Now, I'm not saying I have this, I'm not a doctor, but I can certainly ask them to investigate. As of right now, I'm still stuck with this problem. Sorry I don't have a satisfying resolution to this story. All I can say is I'm so glad that I have the people in my life that I do. And thank all of you for sticking around despite my absence. And thank you for watching. Pray for me.